very good game number one. And Jimmy, these two head coaches, Phil Martelli Jr. and Brian Hodgson, both of these are first-year coaches at their programs, and they like to attack in a very similar way.
Yeah, no doubt. Two guys that coach a very aggressive brand of basketball, especially on the offensive end. Look at Phil Martelli. They come in attempting 33-point shots a game, and he was terrific last year as he led Bryant to the America East regular season and America East tournament title to the NCAA, and now has the task of keeping VCU a big-time mid-major program in the hunt every March. And on the flip side, Brian Hodgson is a guy that, you know, comes through the Nate Oates, Alabama system as well. So two coaches that are hyper-aggressive. They're young, and they have a style about them and a command about them that I think really fits with basketball right now. Both teams want to push the pace. South Florida comes in averaging 100 points a game. That Alabama, we take threes, we take layups, is what the Bulls bring to the island.
We seem to be getting that theme here on the island that everybody wants to turn this into a track meet. We didn't get quite that in game number one, but I think a lot of these games are going to be very high scoring, don't you?
No doubt. And I think South Florida, when you look at their league right now, they're going to be the favorite in my eyes in the American Athletic Association to advance to the NCAA tournament. And that's what Brian Hodgson has been a part of with Nate Oates through Buffalo and Alabama. He turned Arkansas State around quickly. And on the flip side, Phil Martelli's got the same task. I think they're going to be the favorites out of the A-10 to claim that automatic bid. So we could very well see both VCU and South Florida in that NCAA bracket come March.
VCU just gave number 25 NC State pretty good battle, but they dropped that one 85-79 in Raleigh. Darian Williams got 28 for the Wolfpack, but they were right in that thing. They're 3-2, and the Bulls in South Florida are 3-2 as well, and we are underway. South Florida trying to get quickly on the board, and they do. Joseph Pinion, who's getting 17 a game, off the opening tip.
Yeah, fast little tip play. I mean, VCU doesn't go into defensive tip coverage, and Joseph Pinion, who's a flamethrower from three, with a quick, easy two.
Good balance for the Rams. Jadrian Tracy is a big three-point man. Gets 13 points a game. They'll swing the pass here for Nick Lewis, who gets 10. So real balance with the Rams and VCU. Shot clock down to 5. Lewis will pull up and cast it. He can't hit it.
Good job by the team in green to stay in front of the ball in their opening possession.
A look at the starting lineup here for the Bulls. Dijokovic, the leading scorer, 18 points a game and 6 rebounds as well. Nelson with 13, Brown 15. They also get very, very good scoring out of the backcourt. Here's the swing. Djokovic, who is the 6'11 junior from Serbia. Kind of a wild-looking shot by Brandon Jennings, the point guard, and a foul in the backcourt.
Well, you love it. I do as a head coach. If you're Brian Hodgson, the first two possessions in this game, defensively, you've shown you can stay in front of the ball against a VCU team that wants to drive it and punch it. And you look at their starting five.
Our officials, Eric Lewis, Mark Schnurr, and Vlad Teno. Here for game number 2. First game, Vandy had a difficult time and a quick start here for South Florida. Djokovic, the 6'5 senior, 18 points per game. The guy who gets to the line an awful lot. Djokovic shoves 6-0, South Florida.
Opie, you're going to see all year long from South Florida offensively. They're going to take threes and they're going to take layups. They discourage any type of a mid-range shot, just like Nate Oates does at Alabama. And they beat you from threes, layups, and free throws.
On the inbounds, Barry Evans taking the baseline. Back to the big. Evans can't get it to go. And the Bulls in transition again. Hopes very high for a solid season in Tampa. They're a top 3 pick in the American Conference. They play with Memphis, Tulane, Wichita State. Each shot won't drop. Evans with the rebound, and here come the Rams. Tracy on a nifty spin and gets it to go.
I think he is the toughest matchup that VCU puts on the floor. And Jalen Tracy comes in as their leading scorer because he can hit you in multiple ways. He's a pull-up threat. He's a downhill driver, and he is very good spinning in traffic and getting himself to the free throw line. A tough cover at 6'6".
And a real veteran. He's played for St. Joe's 2 years, Oregon for 2, and year 5 at VCU.
South Florida wants to get a shot up within the first 10 seconds of the possession.
Outside for Jones. There's C.J. Brown to back it out. He's a sophomore at 15 a game. Trying to drive it and kick it. It'll be Nelson with the air ball, and Evans grabbed it. Outletting for Jennings, very quick to the other end. Can't get it to go. Both teams flying out of the gate. Wow. And a slam.
Boy, both teams are very comfortable with a chaotic pace. And that's what we have to start this game.
Joppo, a quick 4 points. Another one kicked back. Quick shot, a long one, in and out by Pinion. The knockback out for Brown. Joppo, nice feed for the slam by Isaiah Nelson, and a timeout.
VCU has been chasing more than defending the first 3 minutes of this game. That's not a good sign.
Well, the Bulls are running and out in front by 7. Got 5 players averaging 13 or more. That's the most in Division I, Jimmy.
Well, think about it. They're putting 100 points on the board every night out. And it all starts with this guy right here, Brian Hodson, the head coach. But they are very aggressive. They move that ball fast. They flood the floor with multiple guys that can run in transition. But Brian Hodson will tell you, I lead with intensity. And he embraces the analytics side of the game, just like his mentor Nate Oates does as well at Alabama. He's got the kind of voice that you follow, is what his players say about it. That's a good thing.
Jennings, the lefty point guard, will give it away here to Djokovic. On the baseline, Evans taking contact, knocked out of play off of USF. The shot clock factors in now, 8 seconds left.
South Florida flying around with speed on defense, with discipline, not out of control speed. Very impressed.
Inbounds, and a shot on the way. That won't drop for Lewis. And a whistle in the backcourt. 16:34 to play in the first half. And the foul will go against Brandon Jennings of the Rams. South Florida just lost a track meet with Oklahoma State before coming to the Bahamas. 103-95. Gives you an idea how they want to play. Averaging exactly 100 points a game through 5 games. Brown on the attack. South Florida crashing the glass. It's out off them.
Well, if you're Phil Martelli, yes, you got a couple of thoughts in your head right now. Can we stay in front of the basketball? Because South Florida, multiple guys are grabbing that paint early in the possessions.
Martelli replacing Ryan Odom, who took the Virginia job. Evans trying to tiptoe in. Djokovic will swing it. Or he can't hit the jumper. They'll get a second chance. Lewis in heavy traffic and taken away by the Bulls again. Brown. Pinion can't finish, but they will. South Florida continues to pour it on. 12-3. There's Ward inside, nicely done, and they badly needed that one. The Rams on Tyrell Wart's shot in close.
Well, it is all gas, no brakes, though, right, for the Bulls. And they come at you in waves.
And the Joppo's pass into the backcourt, and that's going to be a violation. Back over to VCU. When we come back, a timeout. USF on the attack, on the follow here, and the slam by Damian Collins. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Marriott Bonvoy.
It's more than a shave. It's the first thing people notice about you. Level up with Barbasol for a clean, smooth finish every time. It's America's #1 brand of shaving cream for a reason. No need to pay more for other brands. Barbasol delivers a thick and rich instant lather that simply gets the job done. Shave with confidence, knowing you're using Barbasol, the American original for over 100 years. Because it's more than a shave. It's Barbasol.
What's his deal? He got that more for your money feeling at Metro with one line of unlimited 5G for just $40, period. And a free 5G phone and no activation fees. Only at Metro.
There's an easier way to bank and get up to $500 in 5 minutes or less when you download Dave.
Serious pain requires serious solutions. Tidal Max Cryotherapy Spray. Next generation pain relief trusted by healthcare providers everywhere. Max relief for back pain, muscle pain, and joint pain. Tidal Max features 2 active ingredients for dual action penetration that delivers rapid full body pain relief and available over the counter at your local pharmacy or favorite retailer. Tidal is used at PT and chiropractic clinics across the country. Ask your healthcare provider about Tidal or visit Tidal.com.
Bitter rivals face off in a Black Friday triple header. Friday on ABC.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Marriott Bonvoy and Atlantis Paradise Island, Bahamas. The discovery of a lifetime. Jimmy Dykes, Dave O'Brien with you from Paradise Island as we get our second game underway here. 15:29 to go in the first half. South Florida looking sharp against the Rams.
They are, Dave, and it's kind of surprising. They come in, South Florida averaging 100 points a ball game. They make 10 threes, only a 32% three-point shooting team, so they have not shot the ball great yet. They're still averaging 100 points a game. In this game, 12 points for South Florida, all 12 in the paint. The inability to stay in front of the ball, a big concern for the team in white early.
Bulls coming in, having scored the most points over a 5-game span in school history. That's any 5-game span that they have ever had. Swished in by Nick Lewis of the Rams. So that tightens it up to 12-8.
Nick Lewis, a top 100 high school player that finds his way to VCU, originally committed to Xavier. I think he's going to be terrific. He's a big-time athlete.
Isaiah Jones gives up the dribble. Gets it back downstairs. Had to work very hard. Djokovic did a good job staying home. Ward will lean into a long one, and that clangs away.
And here comes South Florida, what they call race 27. They race to get their 5 spots filled within 27 seconds on that shot clock still remaining.
And Majappo with a very tough shot. And harassed underneath, 14:30 to go.
Obi, again, South Florida, they race 27 is the terminology they use. When they secure that defensive rebound, it is a race up the floor with all 5 guys to get in their scoring spots. The corners are filled, the high slots are filled, the ball's in the middle, but they want 27 seconds on that shot clock to play with after that initial push. They are very good at it.
Knocked away, but also a foul on the deck there on Wes Enos.
You've got to get back and get your defense set because they will win the foot race in all 5 positions. They are hyper aggressive and hungry, getting that ball on the glass and allowing their 41% offensive rebound rate to come into play as well.
Look at the balance we talked about with the Bulls. Majappo leading everybody. Also has 6 rebounds a game. Ward with the kick. Djokovic will launch, but no. And South Florida comes away, and they want to run again. Brown, bit of a scramble. Wilson will hand off for Enos. And a good swing for the corner jumper, but that will not fall. Rebound tapped around. And a fight for that. It's Ward coming free with it. Bell Rams in control of that one. VCU a little out of control.
It seems like
12-8 lead for South Florida.
both teams are right on that line of playing fast, but stepping over the line and being out of control, to your point.
And the Rams have had to replace their top 6 scorers for a team that won the A-10 Conference Championship last year. There are 9 newcomers on the roster, 7 of those transfers. So it's a totally different Rams team from a season ago. Hill Jr., and that's going to be goaltending, so count that.
It's almost impossible to block a shot if defensively your head is under the rim to start with. And that's where that defender comes from. Just no space for Isaiah Nelson to get out in front of the rim and get that ball before it's coming down. And VCU had a rough start, but now only down 2.
Thanks to a 7-0 run. C.J. Brown is getting 15 points a game. Enos at 14. 6'2" junior. Nelson's floating inside. His shot well defended. Bell comes away with it.
Good job by VCU to win the collision at the rim, and you got to do it.
Tracy on the drive. Can't finish it. And it'll go the other way for South Florida.
It is impossible to get your defense set in this game unless it's after a make, because both teams, they are grabbing that thing and flooding the floor with speed. They put the ball on you fast.
Brown trying to use the Nelson screen. Back to the 6'10" senior. Will draw the double. Mitchell knocked it away from him. That's 3 on the shot clock.
I just don't think that's Nelson's game to be bouncing at 15 feet from the rim. And VCU sat in there and just bluffed at him enough to almost get a turnover off of it. VCU has tightened up their defensive end the last couple of minutes in this game.
And again, only 3 seconds for the Bulls to get off a shot. The inbound here. Enos turns, fires. Rebound comes out high. Rams to push it. Cole gives it away. It's going to be batted free to South Florida.
Boy, both teams need to tap the brakes just a little bit.
Enos pulls off. No. And another one and done. Against Nelson, and gave it away, but also a whistle on the play with 11:57 to go in the first half. Well, the pace remains frenetic, but the scoring has slowed down dramatically.
The Disney Resorts Collection is the most magical place to stay at the most magical place on Earth. Here, the magic is up early, giving you extra time in any of the 4 theme parks every day, and welcoming you back with even more magical moments. Spring into magic and save up to 25% on rooms at select Disney Resort hotels. Why would you stay anywhere else?
What did you bring back from your last trip? A dumpling you'll never forget. What nature truly feels like. A bit of local art. A soulmate for the week. Finding out you love a good poncho. And glamping. And that durian is everything they say it is. Everywhere you go with Marriott Bonvoy shapes you, making you the greatest souvenir of all. Explore our entire world of hotel brands and experiences.
Desert Diamonds celebrate every milestone that makes her, her. In natural colors that reflect she will always be loved. For every shade of who she is. Discover the Neil Lane Desert Diamonds collection at Kay.
Ashley's biggest sale of the year gets even better this week. Shop Black Friday doorbusters starting at just $1.99. Save up to $1,000 on your entire purchase or get 0% interest for 60 months with no money down. This week only at Ashley.
This is Foots, a 28-year-old macaw bird, and Foots has been impressed with South Florida's offense. The reason why, the 7th fastest offense in college basketball. They get a shot off about every 14 seconds. Brian Hodgson learned the system from Nato to Alabama. That's a fast offensive team this week here in Atlantis. Foots is impressed, I can tell.
I expected Captain Dykes to drop a
Archimedes.
Shiver me timbers.
Yeah, Foots is all about speed, watching basketball. And she's getting all she wants right now. South Florida, heavy into analytics is Brian Hodgson. And they are a punch first, punch you last type system. Very aggressive. Everything's trying to get downhill. You think about teams that are high scoring, you think they fire a lot of threes. They do, but it's all set up by the team in green's ability to get in that paint and get you playing off of a closeout defensively.
Well, you believe in your system, you stick with it, right? And they're certainly doing that. South Florida, 35% shooting so far. VCU only 29%. That aside, exactly lighting it up at this point. Pull up pop and right on cue, the long jumper by Tracy. Brown to penetrate and swatted away by Mitchell. South Florida will have the ball here. And a 12-10 lead. Bulls got out very quickly, and the Rams have made their way back into this thing. They'll mop up the floor a bit here.
Dave, it's a hard line to talk about with your team. Both these guys are wired. Martelli and Hodgson are to be the hardest playing, fastest playing team on the floor, but at the same time, you got to be under control. You don't want to take away who you are, but man, you got to play clean ball regardless of the pace you play.
C.J. Brown thought about a three. Looking to penetrate, airborne. What a tough shot, but it rolled off the iron.
One of several tough shots taken in this game.
No, gives it up. Just gave that one away. Jones will attack and lay it in.
There's no defense for turnovers. And VCU they've got to just, like again, tap the brakes a little bit.
Joseph Pinion, the Bulls' number 2 scorer, getting ready to check back in. Evans in close, can't convert. Mitchell doing a good job on the baseline to keep that alive. Tracy kicked it back out. Hill shot. Yes.
That was their best offensive possession because Tracy gets the thing started and finally gets South Florida in a rotation.
Got it to Terrence Hill, who makes 46% from 3. And getting tied up underneath. That's going to be a turnover on Majapo. Well, 3rd annual CBA NBA Cup rolls on tonight with a Thanksgiving Eve group stage triple header. Pistons Celtics beginning the day at 5 Eastern, and then Timberwolves Thunder, Rockets and Warriors capping it off at 10. All starting with NBA countdown at 4:30. 14-13 South Florida. Here's Hill with a pull-up, and he hits it, and draws a foul too. Brings their fans to life.
Yeah, and a great fan base as well. VCU is one of the premier, call them a mid-major all you want to, programs in college basketball. They travel, they care, and Hill is a guy that puts so much pressure on you because you cannot go under any type of a screen because he's such a good shooter. So you try to fight over the top, he gets an angle and an edge on you. You can compound the problem by fouling, but Opie, look at the coaches that have come through that VCU program over the years. Jeff Capel, Anthony Grant, Shaka Smart, Will Wade, Mike Rhodes, Ryan Odom, and now Phil Martelli. And Phil Martelli be the first to tell you that VCU, they take care of their coaches. And if you need something to win, they're not afraid to try to get it done. Just one of the better jobs in the country there in Richmond, Virginia at VCU.
Now they check in to see, I think, if this was a 3 or a 2. As Hill launched the shot. Take a look.
He's clearly behind the line.
He's well beyond.
Yeah, it's where you take off from, not from where you land. And he's 1-2, both feet are down, shots up. That's, yeah.
And the foul on Enos is his second personal. 10:27 to go, and he'll collect that 4-point play to make it 16-14. Well, the Bulls are running and out in front by 7. Got 5 players averaging 13 or more. That's the most in Division I, Jimmy.
Well, think about it. They're putting 100 points on the board every night out, and it all starts with this guy right here, Brian Hodson, the head coach. They are very aggressive. They move that ball fast. They flood the floor with multiple guys that can run in transition. But Brian Hodson will tell you, I lead with intensity. And he embraces the analytics side of the game, just like his mentor Nate Oates does as well at Alabama. He's got the kind of voice that you follow, is what his players say about it. That's a good thing.
Jennings, the lefty point guard, will give it away here to Djokovic. On the baseline, Evans taking contact, knocked out of play off of USF. The shot clock factors in now, 8 seconds left.
South Florida flying around with speed on defense, with discipline, not out of control speed. Very impressed.
Inbounds and a shot on the way. That won't drop for Lewis. And a whistle in the backcourt. 16:34 to play in the first half. And the foul will go against Brandon Jennings of the Rams. South Florida just lost a track meet with Oklahoma State before coming to the Bahamas. 103-95. Gives you an idea how they want to play. Averaging exactly 100 points a game through 5 games. Brown on the attack. South Florida crashing the glass. It's out off them.
Well, if you're Phil Martelli, yes, you got a couple of thoughts in your head right now. Can we stay in front of the basketball? Because South Florida, multiple guys are grabbing that paint early in the possessions.
Martelli replacing Ryan Odom, who took the Virginia job. Evans trying to tiptoe in. Djokovic will swing it. Boy can't hit the jumper. They'll get a second chance. Lewis in heavy traffic and taken away by the Bulls again. Brown. Pinion can't finish, but they will. South Florida continues to pour it on. 12-3. There's Ward inside, nicely done, and they badly needed that one. The Rams on Tyrell Ward's shot in close.
Well, it is all gas, no brakes, though, right, for the Bulls? And they come at you in waves.
And the Joppos pass into the backcourt, and that's going to be a violation. Back over to VCU. When we come back, 29 to go in the first half. South Florida looking sharp against the Rams.
They are, Dave, and it's kind of surprising. They come in, South Florida averaging 100 points a ball game. They make 10 threes, only a 32% three-point shooting team, so they have not shot the ball great yet. They're still averaging 100 points a game. In this game, 12 points for South Florida, all 12 in the paint. The inability to stay in front of the ball, a big concern for the team in white early.
Bulls coming in, having scored the most points over a 5-game span in school history. That's any 5-game span that they have ever had. Swished in by Nick Lewis of the Rams. So that tightens it up to 12-8.
Nick Lewis, a top 100 high school player that finds his way to VCU, originally committed to Xavier. I think he's going to be terrific. He's a big-time athlete.
Isaiah Jones gives up the dribble. Gets it back downstairs. Had to work very hard. Djokovic did a good job staying home. Ward will lean into a long one, and that clangs away.
And here comes South Florida, what they call race 27. They race to get their 5 spots filled within 27 seconds on that shot clock still remaining.
And the Joppo with a very tough shot. And harassed underneath, 14:30 to go.
Obi, again, South Florida, they race 27 is the terminology they use. When they secure that defensive rebound, it is a race up the floor with all 5 guys to get in their scoring spots. The corners are filled, the high slots are filled, the ball's in the middle, but they want 27 seconds on that shot clock to play with after that initial push. They are very good at it.
Knocked away, but also a foul on the deck there on Wes Enos.
You've got to get back and get your defense set because they will win the foot race in all 5 positions. They are hyper aggressive and hungry, getting that ball on the glass and allowing their 41% offensive rebound rate to come into play as well.
Look at the balance we talked about with the Bulls. Jocko leading everybody. Also has 6 rebounds a game. Ford with the kick. Djokovic will launch, but no. And South Florida comes away, and they want to run again. Ron, bit of a scramble. Nelson will hand off for Enos. And a good swing for the corner jumper, but that will not fall. Rebound tapped around. And a fight for that. It's Ward coming free with it. Bell. And the Blues in control of that one. VCU a little out of control.
That seems like
12-8 lead for South Florida.
Both teams are right on that line of playing fast, but stepping over the line and being out of control, to your point.
And the Rams have had to replace their top 6 scorers for a team that won the A-10 Conference Championship last year. There are 9 newcomers on the roster, 7 of those transfers. So it's a totally different Rams team from a season ago. Will Jr., and that's going to be goaltending, so count that.
It's almost impossible to block a shot if defensively your head is under the rim to start with. And that's where that defender comes from. Just no space for Isaiah Nelson to get out in front of the rim and get that ball before it's coming down. And VCU had a rough start, but now only down 2.
Thanks to a 7-0 run. C.J. Brown is getting 15 points a game. Enos at 14. 6'2" junior. Nelson's floating inside. His shot well defended. Bell comes away with it.
Good job by VCU to win the collision at the rim, and you got to do it.
Tracy on the drive. Can't finish it. And it'll go the other way for South Florida.
It is impossible to get your defense set in this game unless it's after a make, because both teams, Obi, they are grabbing that thing and flooding the floor with speed. They put the ball on you fast.
Brown trying to use the Nelson screen. Back to the 6'10" senior. Will draw the double. Mitchell knocked it away from him. That's 3 on the shot clock.
I just don't think that's Nelson's game to be bouncing at 15 feet from the rim. And VCU sat in there and just bluffed at him enough to almost get a turnover off of it. VCU has tightened up their defensive end the last couple of minutes in this game.
And again, only 3 seconds for the Bulls to get off a shot. The inbound here. Enos turns, fires. Rebound comes out high. Rams to push it. Cole gives it away. It's going to be batted free to South Florida.
Boy, both teams need to tap the brakes just a little bit.
Enos pulls off. No. And another one and done. Bell up against Nelson. And gave it away, but also a whistle on the play with 11:57 to go in the
This is
first
Foots, a
half.
28-year-old McCall bird, and Foots has been impressed with South Florida's offense. The reason why, the 7th fastest offense in college basketball. They get a shot off about every 14 seconds. Brian Hodgson learned the system from NATO to Alabama. That's a fast offensive team this week here in Atlantis. Foots is impressed, I can tell.
I expected Captain Dykes to drop a
Archimedes.
shiver me timbers.
Yeah, Foots is all about speed, watching basketball, and she's getting all she wants right now. South Florida, heavy into analytics is Brian Hodgson, and they are a punch first, punch you last type system, very aggressive. Everything's trying to get downhill. You think about teams that are high scoring, you think they fire a lot of threes. They do, but it's all set up by the team in green's ability to get in that paint and get you playing off of a closeout defensively.
Well, you believe in your system, you stick with it, right? And they're certainly doing that. South Florida, 35% shooting so far. VCU only 29%. That aside, exactly lighting it up at this point. Pull up pop, and right on cue, the long jumper by Tracy. Brown to penetrate and swatted away by Mitchell. South Florida will have the ball here. And a 12-10 lead. Bulls got out very quickly, and the Rams have made their way back into this thing. They'll mop up the floor a bit here.
Dave, it's a hard line to talk about with your team. Both these guys are wired. Martelli and Hodgson are to be the hardest playing, fastest playing team on the floor, but at the same time, you got to be under control. You don't want to take away who you are, but man, you got to play clean ball regardless of the pace you play.
C.J. Brown thought about a three. Looking to penetrate, airborne. What a tough shot, but it rolled off the iron.
One of several tough shots taken in this game.
No, gives it up. Just gave that one away. Jones will attack and lay it in.
There's no defense for turnovers. And VCU they've got to just, like again, tap the brakes a little bit.
Joseph Pinion, the Bulls' #2 scorer, getting ready to check back in. Evans in close, can't convert. Mitchell doing a good job on the baseline to keep that alive. Tracy kicked it back out. Hill shot. Yes,
that was their best offensive possession because Tracy gets the thing started and finally gets South Florida in a rotation.
Got it to Terrence Hill, who makes 46% from three. And getting tied up underneath. That's going to be a turnover. 14-13 South Florida. Here's Hill with a pull-up. And he hits it. And draws a foul, too. Brings their fans to life.
Yeah, and a great fan base as well. VCU is one of the premier, call them a mid-major all you want to, programs in college basketball. They travel, they care, and Hill is a guy that puts so much pressure on you because you cannot go under any type of a screen because he's such a good shooter. So you try to fight over the top, he gets an angle and an edge on you. You can compound the problem by fouling, but Obie, look at the coaches that have come through that VCU program over the years. Jeff Capel, Anthony Grant, Shaka Smart, Will Wade, Mike Rhodes, Ryan Odom, and now Phil Martelli. And Phil Martelli be the first to tell you that VCU, they take care of their coaches. And if you need something to win, they're not afraid to try to get it done. Just one of the better jobs in the country there in Richmond, Virginia at VCU.
Now they'll check in to see, I think, if this was a 3 or a 2. As Hill launched the shot. Take a look.
He's clearly behind the line.
He's well beyond.
Yeah, it's where you take off from, not from where you land. And he's 1-2, both feet are down, shots up. That's, yeah.
And the foul on Enos is his second personal. 10:27 to go, and he'll collect that 4-point play to make it 16-14. Jafo getting it off here to Nelson. Enos tried to curl the pass inside, and a foul. And as Isaiah Nelson, the 6'10 senior from Marietta, Georgia, will take the hit.
It's a offensive, it's a fast, positionless offensive system for South Florida. They got a good dose of middle pick and roll action. They move that help defender pretty well. The tag guy, and that middle ball screen that Nelson's now at the free throw line off of, it's a tough cover. South Florida's good at it.
Nelson, another Arkansas State transfer with Brian Hodson, where he averaged 11 points, 9 rebounds a game last year.
He fits that 5-out or 4-on-1 system well. You got to have a big that can ball screen, that can roll out of it. It's got a motor. It's kind of a walking double threat. It's 35 in green this year.
He makes 1 of 2. Jennings running the point for Phil Martelli Jr. Mitchell won't wait. And it's around and out. And a rebound by Brown at 6'2". He can get up there. Some room to negotiate. Brown slamming on the brakes. Out for Pinion. 9 to get off a shot. A swing for Brown. Down to 3 on the shot clock. On the pass, Jones. He converts right before the shot clock expires.
But what a play by C.J. Brown, man, to not be pressured by the shot clock ticking down and to have a late pass and really good hands and finish at the rim.
Jennings nowhere to go there. Here's Mitchell. Pinion came over to defend him, and out it goes. It'll stay here. Tied at 17.
Watch C.J. Brown on this end. That shot clock's winding down. This is a veteran move, man. He doesn't panic and force up a tough 2. He finds a late find to his buddy down low in Isaiah Jones. Big time play by Levin and Green.
Hill Jr. gets it in. Barry Evans back out for Hill Jr. He's their best three-point man percentage-wise. And a foul on the floor before the shot. 9 minutes to go in the first half. And a personal foul on Joseph Pinion, number 1. Well, he seemed to bear the brunt of it, flexing that shoulder.
Yeah, he was trying to secure the backside, those corner threes. You've got to secure the backside where that ball bounces most of the time, and Pinion just got in an upper body fist fight, and he lost the fight.
Hill will lift. Not there for him. Gavin Hightower, speedy freshman, into the fray now for the Bulls. He'll drive it, scoop it, it won't fall. Nelson right back up for 2.
Again, Nelson is so good, man. Off of any dribble penetration, he goes to the front of the rim, expecting the miss in the cleanup.
He's always around the iron, too. 13 points, 9 rebounds a game for him. Long one around and out for Evans. So the Bulls by 2. Game 1 today, Vanderbilt held off Western Kentucky to win their way into the semifinals tomorrow afternoon. Pinion launches, got it to 3.
He is their flamethrower, Pinion. Started off his career as an Arkansas Razorback, transfers to A-State, and one of the guys that Brian Hodson said, I wanted to make sure when I got this job that he was coming with me.
So the Bulls on an 8-0 run. Evans banks in 2.
Probably the most versatile guy, right? He can rack it on you, he can drive it, he can spin his way to the free throw line. Just a tough cover at 6'8" and 215.
Yeah, played for Phil Martelli Jr. at Bryant last year. Jennings. Evans. to make a move on that baseline. Long jumper on the way, won't go for Ward. And one and done in that position for VCU.
And the first time in the entire game, Brian Hodson stops his offense and goes with the play call.
Binion went to drive it, and he's fouled in the play. So just under 7 minutes here in this quarterfinal in the first half.
Kind of tells you analytically what South Florida looks like, or what they emphasize day after day after day inside their system.
Brian Hodson wants to play a tougher schedule. He's doing that. They've already lost to George Washington. They have College of Charleston. They've got Alabama still to come, and they're hoping to pick up a couple of impressive wins here in the Bahamas.
They are, and the schedule is tough, but he tried to make it tougher, and he's just flat out said there wouldn't be anybody to return our phone call. Now I think they see the style that we play, the athletes that we brought in out of the portal, and this is a South Florida team. But again, I think they are the favorite from what I've seen so far in the American Athletic Conference this year.
Joppo on the dribble. Shot clock to 9. Hightower off for Brown. And a foul that was with just 6 on the shot clock. And the whistle on Nick Lewis. His second foul. And the Rams back to the bench. And 13 points a game, Jadrian Tracy, the 6'6 senior from Fort Myers, Florida. He's back on. Off the inbounds. Boy, tell you what, Jones had a layup. If you ever were going to have a layup on that inbound.
His eyes went to the rim to score before his eyes secured the basketball, because he was as open as you're going to get at the college level.
So 22-19.
I think this guy's got to get going for VCU.
Djokovic spinning, nicely done.
Yeah, he's their most important guy. I know all the guards are flying around making plays, but he changes how VCU can play as a 1-5 switch defender and a real threat on the offensive end at that 5 spot.
6'11", hard to handle. Brown lost one up there. Hightower with the high rebound. C.J. Brown going up against the big. Tried to go high up the window, and a good follow up and in by Damian Collins.
In a game like this, there's value to guys that can penetrate the defense and just get the ball on the glass and allow your athletes to come in and clean it up.
Noel gets a look. Yes, a three-pointer. A rainbow triple.
Good job by Noel, who's not known for his three-point shooting. Did not get a lot of playing time at UConn, but trying to find his groove here.
Hightower quickly on the other end for 2.
I think it was at 26 on the shot clock. After a basket, man, they bring it with warp speed.
And he's ultra quick, the freshman off the bench out of Los Angeles. Djokovic again, trying to get in close, but he'll draw the foul. And the junior from Serbia to the line.
Well, that's just downhill quickness, but again, you bring jerseys to the ball. It allows a uber athlete like Damian Collins to use his 6'9" length to come in to make up a play. And there's Noel with the cash 3.
Collins with his first foul, so Lazar Djokovic to shoot here. VCU his third stop. First one was Xavier and then College of Charleston.
He's had a lot of international experience, though, with that FIBA World Cup team in Serbia this kid has. He makes VCU go. With the way he can be a ball screen threat offensively, his ability to score with his back to the basket, get to the line, I think he's their most important guy. Big, skilled, strong. A tough cover in that A-10.
Brown, scoop shot in for 2. C.J. Brown giving him a boost. His first basket, 28-26. The Bulls in front. Well, gives up the dribble. They want Djokovic again, this time to the left to bank into.
A couple of minutes ago, I said this is the guy that VCU has to get going. I think Phil Martelli was sensing the same thing. He's gone to 17 in white. 4 straight possessions. He's delivered on 3 of them.
Wow, he'll reject that shot. Brown trying to get in tight. On the fast break, they're going to turn it over on the travel.
Boy, South Florida, though, if you give them an angle, if you do not square them up as a defender, they're going to be at the rim on it. And watch this VCU ball screen defense. Djokovic does a little bit of a drop coverage, but he never stops the ball, and that's a green light. South Florida, they don't stop themselves. They don't guard themselves. They come at you for 40 minutes.
So Djokovic on the bench to get a little bit of a breather as we approach the 4-minute mark here in the Bahamas. Game number 2 on the slate today. Brown trying to penetrate again. It's proven to be a handful. He goes down. He'll take a little bit of a breather, but it's been tough to guard. And we're tied at 28 apiece.
Yeah, he's a key guy for Brian Hodson in year 1 because he's one of the 2 holdovers from last year's Bulls team. He's actually an All-American Athletic Conference all-freshman team member. Does everything that I want from a lead guard other than shoot the 3-point shot well. I think 25% in his career.
Tracy picked up his second foul to put him at the line. He's 81%. Well short on the first one.
Well, he could not have asked for a better fit for how he plays the game than the hire of Brian Hodson, because this guy is a downhill at his core, drive the ball with force kid. And this South Florida system is built for guards like him.
His second shot got that one. So 1-point game.
Brian Hodson staring at Phil Martelli, getting the play call and then passing it on to his assistants. Just trying to maybe steal a defensive stop later on in this game.
Shot clock to 9. Down to 8 at the time of the foul. With 3:48 left. Okay, Arda, Coach Crane, thank you very much. South Florida, 1-point advantage here on VCU. Jimmy Dykes, Dave O'Brien with you as Feast Week rolls on, presented by Lowe's.
Obi, the game within the game, as I watch coaches, Brian Hodson on the last possession before we went to break, VCU's bringing the ball up, and he's literally staring at Phil Martelli, listening for the play call, and as soon as Phil Martelli barked out the play, he turned to his assistants and said, this is what they're running. What you're doing there is trying to pick up just something within the game that might be able to save you a basket or 2 maybe in the second half. So whatever that play call was, South Florida now has. They'll listen for it as the game goes on, trying to help their guys. Man, you can steal a couple of points here or there. Might be the difference of a game.
Is that a little bit like legal sign stealing in baseball?
Absolutely it is. Yep. Absolutely it is. And all head coaches will listen to it and look for it. Just trying to help your guys in any way that you can.
Pinion launches, but too strong. Well, tearing down the rebound, and VCU trying to add to a very slender lead here in the first half. Will Jr. Well, we'll bounce this one. For Michael Bell, scooping underneath, tantalizing on that rim, but it wouldn't drop. Man,
neither team sees a stop sign or a yield sign. Everything they see is a green light. That's just, you're sped up right now. I understand the philosophy and the pace, and I love it. I love aggressive basketball. But it just feels like Brian and Phil both would like to tell their guys just a little bit slower.
3:07 to go before the break.
Don't guard yourself with turnovers. Does that make sense?
Yes. Tried to bounce speed, got a little too aggressive on that one. Djokovic was his intended target. It never reached him. And again, they're not going to wait around. A very quick 3, but off target by Isaiah Jones. Djokovic, a leaner, no. And And a whistle here with 2:39 to go. And a blocking foul.
Obi, that shows you the versatility, though, of Djokovic. He's your 5 guy on the floor. And he runs to that corner where we normally run shooters to and makes a play out of the corner and gets himself to the line. He's just a very tough cover. He's all up, 6'11", 235, whatever they listed.
He opened the season with a bang. He had 21 in their opener against Wagner. Then didn't score against Utah State in the second game because he had an ankle injury. And Phil Martelli thought maybe that game turns out a lot different. Yeah. And even able to stay healthy in it. He's 7 points so far. Here in game number 2 in the Bahamas, and that'll roll out. Right up, that won't fall. Ward got an excellent opportunity, couldn't finish it. 31-29 the Rams. Brown with a leaner. Down. And the foul on Brown as he went right into Ward trying to free that one up and pick up his second foul.
It would be good action by South Florida. Pinion is your designated shooter. And they kind of use him as a smoke screen, causing some hesitation to get Brown downhill, but not in love with the rim decisions that I've seen from some of these guards right now. Just really throwing up shots that are going to go in at about a 22% rate, and that's not good.
Tyrell Ward, the junior from Washington, D.C. at the line. Hightower, the quick guard, back on, replacing Brown.
Ward's an interesting story. He chose to set out last year as a redshirt transfer. So it was 500 days, I think, between his last game at LSU 2 years ago and his first game this year. 41% shooter at LSU in his time there. He's a very talented.
Taking a look at the last foul. Yeah, Ward voted to the preseason second team in the A-10. Very tough matchup at 6'6".
Tells you about his reputation, right?
Yes.
Hasn't taken a snap in the A-10, and the coaches know about him and put him on that second team all preseason team.
A lot of anticipation for him this season, but off the mark. Coming up on 2 minutes before the break. Hightower with a handoff. Bank shot won't go. And Mojapo's really not had much of an impact in the first half for the Bulls. But they're going to win back the basketball. Nelson picks it off.
You cannot be loose with the ball in a game like this. You cannot expect the officials to bail you out with a whistle. You got to be strong with that thing and expect contact on every play.
That's going to be a turnover along the baseline on the errant pass. 1:38 to go.
Just a sped up turnover from Hightower. You can't play harder than these two teams are playing. Maybe a little smarter at times here and there, but then the effort is exactly what you expect during feast week in a ballroom. What I expect out of you, OB, the next 2.5 days.
Right.
Ballroom effort.
You know the dancer I am. Djokovic trying to power his way into the paint and will draw the whistle. 1:27 to go. Isaiah Nelson arguing his case, but he'll pick up his second foul. Big senior from Marietta, Georgia. Or as the folks in Marietta pronounce it, Mayretta.
Do they?
Yes, they do. Know that firsthand, having lived in Atlanta for about 7 years. Djokovic at the line and in and out on number 1.
When you step into a program in your first year, there's foundations, core beliefs. And both these teams they're already married to how they play. They're not just a tryout basis. I love what Brian Hodgson told me last week, talking to him on the phone. He said we are a no BCD. No blaming, no complaining, no defending your actions to others. That's who we are. You own your accountability in every aspect under us.
Foul right at midcourt to stop the clock at 1:19. VCU leading at 32-29. And we'll go against Ahmad Noel, his first. The 1-1 coming, Jimmy.
I'm saying this in a very complimentary way. This game has a peach jam feel to it. We're in a small area. The crowd's not completely packed, but the intensity and the speed of the play, not always great. But man, you cannot knock at all how hard these guys are playing, driving the ball, bringing the officials into the game with a whistle. Neither team refusing to back away at all from how we have set the rules of how we're supposed to play. Does that make sense?
Sure does. You thought it would be too, the tempo
yes.
and the will of both of these teams to get to the basket.
That's why both these guys were hired. I love that description, their will. There's no back down at all from Phil Martelli or from Brian Hodson. And their kids will play the same way.
Two of the rising stars in coaching going head-to-head in their first year in their programs.
You see Hodson there, he's staring at Phil Martelli, just trying to pick up, what's this play call? Can this help us down the line? It's all really good stuff by those coaches, on top of every little detail they can be.
Both coming in at 3-2 in the early going. VCU has put up 25 consecutive winning seasons. They've won at least 20 in 18 of those. So a whole lot of success. You mentioned the great coaches that have come through there at VCU.
One of 5 programs in the country that has that streak alive right now.
Binion with a kick back out for Brown. Nice speed. Excellent patience there on a whistle. He waited for Omajafo to come on through that lane.
There's been a lot more contact not called than what just got called right there. Frustration for Phil Martelli, but man, I love the cut, the vicious, violent cut by Omajafo. Cutting behind a drive, so there's a natural alley that opens up for cutters. And this kid understands it well.
Senior from Canada. He's one of 4 Canadian players on the roster for USF. Trying to fashion the success out of Canada that St. Mary's has had out of Australia over the years. We're going to see St. Mary's later on tonight.
I think they are really, really good. They're big, they're long. Andrew McKeever, right? 7'3" and 265, whatever he is.
He's all of that, too.
One of the better offensive rebounders in the country. Yes. That's a real team at the bottom of this bracket in Atlantis.
Coach Bennett, one of the best in the country. And one of the favorites to win here in the Bahamas. Tournament getting underway with a big win from Vandy earlier today. Oh, what a nice feed by the big fella to get it downstairs to Evans. Djokovic with a tremendous pass.
A high IQ cut by Evans. Cannot stand and watch. He kept himself moving.
So last seconds of the first half and a timeout for the Bulls. And Brian Hodson will take one here with 18 seconds to go.
Watch the back cut here by Evans on the right side, right there, number 5. Just actually, South Florida got more confused, and it was a great cut. 2 guys went with the exit cut and left Evans uncovered. Give up an easy 2. And Brian Hodson takes his use it or lose it timeout, which I do not like, by the way. Why does a coach have to take one of his timeouts in the first half has never made sense to me, but that's how the rules are. And Brian Hodson takes it.
So C.J. Brown has set it up. 14 seconds to go before halftime. The Bulls down 1. Pinion wanted to shoot it. Down to 3. Picked off by Evans. Evans at the buzzer practically will dunk that one down. And what an end to the first half. Barry Evans with the pick and the dunk. And VCU leads it at the break, 36-33.
To maybe look at the end of this one, because that really go from a 1-point lead to a 3-point lead. VCU with a terrific defensive close. They covered the Spain action, ran through the pass, and carried a lot of momentum in with them at halftime.
Take a look at our first half stats brought to you by Marriott Bonvoy. And break down what has been a pretty wild one. Pretty frenetic action back and forth, but South Florida in the paint has dominated. And the bench for the Rams has made a big impact with 17 points.
Neither team has shot the ball well at all. I mean, South Florida shooting 36% from the floor. VCU only 38%. Just a little better shot selection would go a long ways for both these teams.
Bulls opening up the basketball in the second 20 minutes. Here in game number 2. Isaiah Jones with a shot clock to 7. Kept that foot down. Little foul away won't fall for him. Brandon Jennings running the point for the Rams. There's Tracy. It can be an outstanding three-point guy. 45% out there. Evans can't drain that. Djokovic right back up. He'll draw the foul. And he will be at the line to shoot 2.
Dave Djokovic is such a key guy. Even the three-point shot on the backside of the floor was all created because the shooter's defender was concerned about the lob threat to Djokovic. Couldn't close out to take away the 3, and then Djokovic cleans up the miss. Just so many good things happen with this guy in the middle of the floor.
Joseph Pinion with his second foul. VCU at 3-2. The Bulls of South Florida also at 3-2. Coming here to the Bahamas. Djokovic hits the second. And that's actually the biggest lead of the day for the Rams. Up by 4. Jones will stop and fire. Boy, got a great look. It wouldn't fall.
Well, they've made one, I think, three-point shot in this game. They came in South Florida making 10.
Djokovic goes up strong. He'll draw another foul. Rising up for the dunk. And he'll be shooting 2.
He's a very good player, Djokovic. And surprised he only averaged 8 points and 6 rebounds last year at College of Charleston. But you attract that dunk spot defender to the basketball, and it just frees up a play from the dunker spot where Djokovic was sitting.
Here's foul number 3, by the way, and the sophomore for the Bulls, C.J. Brown. So that is a worry. That is also 15 points a game for USF. Djokovic sinks it. 10 points for the big guy. Hightower will come on for Brown. We'll find out just how important that shot, that make by Evans off the steal and the dunk. And you kind of intimated that sometimes those can really push a team once the second half begins, and that is maybe happening right now for the Rams and VCU.
Some baskets are worth more than others, you know. It only counted as 2 on the scoreboard, but sometimes more than that in your locker room.
Machado wriggling underneath, and he'll get a pair. So 39-35, he breaks into double figures with 10. They're going to need a big one from him. He averages 18.
Yeah, he's a hard-playing, tough, downhill, driving game dude that gets to the free throw line about 7 or 8 times himself.
Jennings up top, Tracy. Yeah, found it. Djokovic to the other side of the iron for 2.
It just feels like he's the one guy that South Florida can't cover. Watch
Lewis
out.
with the theft, and he lays it in. So they open it up to 43-35.
Nick Lewis is a baller. Starting freshman point guard for VCU. He's a solid 200-pound, 6'1" kid. A top 100 recruit, originally committed to Xavier, and then Sean Miller left, and VCU swept him up. His grandmother lives in Richmond, Virginia. And just the knack and street smarts, just a careless pass by Pinion. The second careless pass by Pinion in the last 2 minutes of playing action in this game.
Pinion off the fake around Djokovic. Couldn't finish, but guess who did? Right on top of that rim, number 35, Isaiah Nelson. Getting a warning, too, about hanging on the rim. So 43-37.
Anyone ever warn you of that?
Heartbreakingly, no, Jimmy. That never happened unless I was on a ladder trying to fix something. Do not know that sensation. And a little collision there. And a blocking foul. They'll get Nelson for that one.
David, a game with this much pressure, you had to burn it off somehow. You drive that pressure off of you, and the jerseys converge, and it allows those athletes on the floor to come in for those offensive rebounds. South Florida very good percentage-wise, 41% on the offensive glass. It hurts them at times with their transition defense by throwing so many jerseys on that backboard.
Lewis. Djokovic. Evans will swing it. Here's Tracy straight on. Rebound batted right back almost to midcourt to him.
Got a one shoe on, one shoe off. Wes Enos.
So an official timeout.
They don't normally stop the game for that. I mean, normally you have to play through it.
Wes, the son of former NFL running back Curtis Enos, who is a Chicago Bear. Wes, a transfer from Lincoln Memorial, a small private school in Tennessee, Division II, the Rail Splitters.
I did not know that. I know last year that he was the Mark Sears of Division II basketball. Enos was very similar game. Man, just dominated it off the bounce. Could really score. He fits this system really well.
Djokovic lost the footing. Tried to shovel the pass. It comes free. Right back to him. Went to lay it up and takes a nasty hit. And he is in some pain as he rolls over. And a little bit hobbled Isaiah Nelson as well. So 16:59 left. And getting physical.
OB, you forget how big Djokovic is. He's all of 6'11", but he's quick to the ball, even bending over to pick it up off the ground and immediately get it up on the glass. He's very, very quick and athletic for his size.
Officials headed to the monitor, an official review. VCU leading this by 6. As the big guy went down hard, Djokovic at 6'11".
I don't see anything there. There was a reach-in foul initially. Maybe the second guy comes from behind. No, there's nothing there. That should be a quick monitor review. Yeah.
And indeed, that's the case. Nothing additional. There's 4 seconds on the shot clock. So keep an eye.
Should be shooting, right? Yeah, now they reset it.
Yeah, it is going to be a shooting.
There we go.
Yep. So he will take shots here. Djokovic back to the line. 12 points in this one, 3 rebounds. And a miss on number 1. So Djokovic with another one on the way, 70% foul shooter. And hits the second. 44-37. Hightower trying to pull his way inside. He does hit the shot and took the foul as well. You know, one thing you'll be keeping an eye on all season long is continuation in college basketball.
This is a good example of it. You get that crossover and going downhill, the contact occurs. Now, as he gathers that basketball, the offensive player is allowed, boom, one more step and sometimes 2, and that's the case. And the officials have been told if it's a 50-50 call, go ahead and let that second foot come down as well. And a good move for college basketball to go to that rule change.
A lot of the college game moving closer and closer to NBA-style rules. the bounce. Here's Evans. Evans to the paint. Got there. Made the shot.
Very patient and really very powerful for a kid that's kind of slender built. But kept his feet under his shoulders, which you have to do to get through any kind of contact.
8 points for him, and good defense here by VCU. Tracy with the steal.
Yeah, shoot that.
Djokovic gets it. A three-pointer.
Their most important guy is Djokovic. The guards are terrific. They play with a lot of speed, but this dude makes everything work. The trail threes, the post-up ability, the ball screen. Hard to guard. Lazar Djokovic. There's nothing lazy about that river, by the way. Have you been on it? Man, there's rapids, there's everything going on at Lazy River. Their version of lazy is different than mine.
Some of our outstanding photographers mixing in a little bit of recreation along with the job.
No doubt.
Here on Paradise Island, 10-point lead for the Rams. Bulls trying to cut in. Getting inside Enos for two. Determined drive by Wes Enos.
Well, they're not getting any three-point looks. VCU is running South Florida off the three-point line, forcing them to take and make twos, tough twos, instead of clean threes.
Evans on Jones. Got bottled up, got in too close and misfired. Nelson around and out. Djokovic had the rebound knocked away, but he's been a bear on the glass. The jump shot will be well short by Hill Jr., but Djokovic comes away with another board. Jennings will set it up. The sophomore point guard out of Richmond, Virginia. Shot clock down to 6. Hill Jr. with the kick. Evans down to 1, and he's on the line. We will take a break. 14:49 to go here in the second half. That should be a dandy once again. ACC-SEC Challenge. Got Duke in Florida.
Man, big games. Duke at Florida. I think you have North Carolina at Kentucky.
Yes.
I think the next night I have Louisville at Arkansas. Oh. Yeah, all across the board. Tennessee goes to Syracuse. That's going to be a heck of a game. Syracuse a lot better this year. Tennessee with one of the best wins in college basketball last night, beating Houston on a neutral floor. There have been some impressive wins this year. Purdue at Alabama comes to mind. Arizona winning at UConn. UConn was down. Terrace Reed was still a big-time win, but man, we've had some great games to start college ball this year.
And there are so many outstanding freshmen.
Yes,
this season, really from coast to coast, more than they've been in a long time in college basketball. Brown to make a move and banks it in. That was sweet by C.J. Brown. Well, Rams needed a bit of an answer. They got one a few moments ago, and now the Bulls do the same thing.
Obi, there's a chance the top 8 picks in the next NBA draft could be out of this freshman class. That would set a record. I believe we've had the top 7 before, but this class is deep enough that they could go 8 deep with those 1 through 8 picks.
Tracy trying to negotiate in close, almost lost it, got it back. And a whistle here with 4:13 to go. Count that.
Love the play call. Love the play call by Phil Martelli out of timeout to get Tracy in the middle third of the floor and just say, hey, go to work. And you're kind of a workhorse guy at 6'6", a mismatch problem, and there's not a lot of wasted bounces or traffic on top of him in that play. Well designed and well executed by Tracy, huh?
51-43. As we approach 14 minutes to go in game 2. Brown will back it away and fire. And another whistle. Isaiah Nelson going down on his back. So Tracy to the bench. Enos gets it in for Brown. Drive to the left hand, and 2 more for him.
Boy, the blow-by ability, right, of C.J. Brown. You can back off from him. He's not a three-point shot, but even if you do, give him a cushion. He's still got the speed, the explosion.
Evans with the kick out for Ward. Couldn't hit the open shot. Nice job by Hill to keep that alive for the Rams. Hill will turn around. And short range gets it to go.
Big 2 points by Hill. Had he tried to grab that ball, I don't think he would have gotten to it, but the awareness just to tip it forward and keep that possession alive. Very impressive.
Calling this one pretty tight here in the second half. A lot of whistles.
But here's what I'm talking about. Watch Hill. He kept this play alive and finishes it off with that fadeaway too, but his ability to knock the ball forward to a teammate on this near side earlier in that possession is what set it all up.
Nelson and Djokovic. This could be entertaining. These two toe-to-toe, and another whistle. Really has tightened up here. And half number 2, a lot of fouls.
You know, we don't always count the human part of officiating. They can go in the locker room at halftime as a group come out there thinking, you know what? Maybe we're a little loose with the whistle. A lot of contact in this first 20 minutes. We could adjust it a little bit. The good officiating crew, and it's not uncommon for a half to change in terms of the tightness of the whistle.
A great point. Swished in out of the corner by Enos. He knocks down a 3.
It's hard to put either one of these teams away. They play with a great will.
Well, with an air ball, but gathered by Evans. Ward takes a little bit of a bump, no whistle there. Now the Bulls chase down here. Ward commits the foul.
The momentum trying to swing back now to South Florida. You see them responding to their defensive stops and aggressiveness on the glass. A hardwired guy is Brian Hodgson. I watch him and Nate Oates build that Alabama program quickly into one of the teams that you feared to play against, and he's trying to get South Florida to be that same type of team in his first year.
Will loft it up there. Rebound tapped around, controlled by Evans. Got a breakaway chance with Ward, but he was out of control. Evans with the rebound, somehow in the right place to bank it in. Enos will knock that out of play. The Rams will continue to have possession, and this one has gotten a little bit wild.
Man, if you hesitate or flinch in this game, you're going to give up a 5-6-0 run, because it is just wall-to-wall speed and aggressiveness for 94 feet.
Brown again, just lost it, and a nice tap save by Djokovic. 55-48 VCU.
There's just been some tough shots taken by both teams in this game.
It's going to be a tie-up possession arrow. We'll keep it right here on this end. VCU will have the ball. 11:57 to go.
That's well trained.
Very
highly intelligent. They actually
you do amazing work with the animals.
They turn half of their brain off when they sleep, so they'll still come up for breath and have the sensory to know if there's danger around. They sleep with half their brain on and half their brain off.
Did not know that either.
No.
You've become, these last 6 or 7 years, a real expert here in the Bahamas.
Fish facts. I call them fish facts.
You are a fish aficionado, I guess.
And don't call the sea lion a seal.
Right.
Those are fighting words.
I've heard that.
I had to explain that the last 24 hours.
If somebody got in trouble. 55-48. Bulls trying to cut into this. The advantage for VCU. Brown has been the go-to guy. A terrific pass over the top for Nelson.
Yeah, I say that's good because the middle ball screen that Brian Hodgson, he flips the ball screen from one side to the other. Just enough confusion to let that rim runner roll clean.
Some good basketball there. The play's been pretty ragged last 6 or 7 minutes. Bell with a turnaround. Can't find a range on that one. Well, the Bulls picking up the momentum. Stepping into a long one. That'll be off the back of the iron by Nelson. Maybe not the shot they wanted right there.
No, it was not the shot they wanted right there by Isaiah Nelson. That's not who he is. He took the bait that VCU gave him.
Bell picks up the dribble. Bell will drive it. Back outside for Evans. And another whistle and another foul. This one off the ball in a rebounding play.
Here's that middle ball screen. You hook it, you flip it, a little bit of Spain action. Just enough confusion with a shooter popping to the top and the rim runner rolling to the rim to get Nelson freed up. A very well-designed play. Tough to cover, especially in that middle third.
Now the Bulls lose Joseph Pena to a 4th foul. He's their number 2 scorer, 17 a game. He's been pretty quiet in this one, but he's now off the floor. Mitchell shovels it up there, but no.
Obi, that's just a hard shot. I mean, I don't know what percentage it goes in. It's not a high rate at all. A turnaround 14-footer.
Nelson set the screen. Brown won't use it. Trying to penetrate. Lost the dribble. Pull up by Enos. Nelson fed him, but he can't connect. He'll draw the foul. As we approach 10 minutes to go here in game number 2 and our battle for Atlantis. Our second quarter final. Vanderbilt is into the semifinals. They knocked off Western Kentucky earlier today.
Well, if you're VCU, you got to stay in this fight on the glass, because I mentioned South Florida. They get 4 out of every 10 misses that they shoot. They get them back. About 41% on the offensive glass, and it is relentless, and they're not going to go away from it. And if you're VCU, it's not your first shot defense trying to close out this game. It's your second shot defense as well.
South Florida knows how to get to the line. But that one in and out by Nelson.
Well, you need them all. In a close game, you absolutely need every one of them.
Bell needs some help.
Don't foul if you're South Florida. You got him in a short clock.
Bell slicing inside, and mid-range gets it to go.
I like your description. Bell slicing, just slicing through that opening. The ball finds energy, and it found Bell.
His first basket. Brown fails to finish. Bill will set things up now for Phil Martelli Jr. 9:20 left. Bell again. That's a spot on the floor he likes.
Big time play. A little dribble weave action up top. And it ends up with Michael Bell, all 6'8" and 220. Just a versatile, rugged wing on both ends of the floor.
Young man from London. VCU on top by 9. Batted away, but a foul as well. With 8:56 showing on the clock. And back to that move.
Well, this comes off of a dribble weave up top, and it's a tough cover because Bell at 6'8", 220 is involved in the weave, so he gets it, OB, with some momentum coming downhill to begin with. Back-to-back really big buckets from Michael Bell.
So the Bulls at the line. C.J. Brown makes 81%. Sophomore has so far doubled his scoring average from his freshman year. He's up to 15 a game as he's shooting a 1-and-1 here in a moment.
OB, look at the pace that both these teams play. I know Brian Hodgson gets his coming out of that Alabama system. Phil Martelli, though, they play a rapid pace as well. I thought it was interesting. He told us yesterday, I said, where did you come up with your offensive philosophy playing fast? He said, when I was an assistant at Niagara, we were averaging 70 possessions a game, which nowadays is not considered fast. Back then it was. But he said, my time in the G League playing with a shorter shot clock really got me thinking about putting pressure on the defense early and the number of possessions we can increase by doing it. And just a brilliant offensive mind out of Phil Martelli. He just has paid his ways and learned along the way, and now he's got his own thumbprint, exactly how he wants his teams to play.
And it took over a 28-win team,
no doubt,
that got to the NCAA tournament last year, but he got there with Bryant. Djokovic to his left, and a whistle. Everything contested, anything around the rim, you're going to feel a body on you with 8:39 to go.
And it's like Phil Martelli now with the offense in front of him is isolating who he wants just to operate one-on-one. We've seen Bell do it some, and now Djokovic gets the call. Jadrian Tracy was isolated in the middle third. Just really good execution and play calling out of Phil Martelli these last 5 or 6 minutes.
So the 6'11" junior to the line. And another one on the way for Djokovic. Brandon Jennings, a point guard, back on. And Hill to take seat.
Is his dad here, Phil? He was supposed to be here today.
We did not see Phil.
He missed his flight? I thought he was supposed to be here today. We'll get on that in between games.
Jaffa tried to rifle a pass inside, knocked away by VCU. Jaffa going airborne, got clubbed. So nothing easy. You're going to pay the price on just about everything.
Yeah, absolutely nothing given in this game, especially around the rim. Omar Jaffa, 11-point guy last year for Robert Morris, an NCAA tournament team. Just a hard-playing guy that fits Brian Hodgson's personality and attack mentality.
They'll shoot a 1-and-1. Rounded out, Djokovic on his way to a double-double here.
Not helping himself from that free throw line, though.
Here's Jennings. 9 to get up a shot. Knocked away by Hightower. Loose ball, and he's out in front. Hightower up against Bell. Nice handoff and a basket by Omar Jaffa.
A great job by Hightower because he could have easily lost control of that ball, but the presence to keep control of it. But you cannot go behind the back and half-court offense against this type of defensive pressure and athletes. VCU a turnover last time because of it.
Out for Bell. Got an excellent look. A dribble down. The shot won't fall by Jennings, but another personal foul with 7:27 left. Moving on to the semifinals tomorrow.
Well, look at Vanderbilt, the only ranked team in the battle for Atlantis this year. But I think there's 4 or 5 NCAA tournament teams when we get to March and look back. Vanderbilt being one of them. I think both these teams right now, VCU and South Florida, will be favored in their league for the automatic bid. Virginia Tech looks like an NCAA tournament team right now. St. Mary's looks like one that can go not only in the tournament, but maybe to that second weekend, if not beyond. I think they're really good.
Looking forward to seeing them tonight. Kevin Brown and Corey Alexander will have the night session here in the Bahamas.
South Florida came in making 10 threes a ball game, attempting 30. VCU said none of that today. We're going to be upside that three-point line. We're going to climb up into you. If you can make enough twos to beat us, so be it. We're not going to let you beat us from the three.
South Florida just 2 for 13 from three-point distance in this one. As Wes Enos will take the hit.
So think about that. It's not just they've only made 2. They've only taken 13. For a team that averages 30 three-point attempts, that tells you a lot about Phil Martelli, his defensive plan, and how his kids have executed that on the floor so far.
It is for the misfire, 75% at the line. And Jennings taken off now by Martelli, and Hill back on. Enos sinks the second. One of 4 players getting at least 13 points a game for the Bulls. And Brian Hodson is 6 in this one.
The Bulls need back-to-back stops and back-to-back makes. So it all starts on this end.
Djokovic not afraid to get physical. Following his own miss, takes a hit, and he'll be off to the line.
He is a warrior, is he not?
He's been really getting crunched as well. But not bashful, right back at it.
Not at all. He is so athletic for a kid that's all of 6'11". I mean, he bounces that ball with force. He's not playing around with it. When he puts that ball on the deck, I mean, he's pounding that thing with a purpose. Very forceful player, Lazar Djokovic. A lot of big guys, when they make that bounce move, they almost bounce the ball like, excuse me while I do this. Not him. He's bringing it through your chin to the rim.
He's drawn 10 fouls in this game. Got to make his foul shots, though. He's just 9 for 15. Under 7 minutes to go. And drills the second. You listen to you. Coachable indeed, 64-55. Enos lost his footing, gave it away. Nowhere to go. Picked off by Bell. On the run on the top, Djokovic. And on the line, South Florida, so it will be VCU ball. Nearly a thunder dunk by the big.
But neither team apologizes for how they play, do they? They come at you, whether it's a high percentage play or not. They are 100% effort in what they're trying to do. I'm here for it.
Definitely A for effort.
Yes.
If not always execution.
They bring the fight to you.
Trying to feed the big, but batted away. He goes down and fights for it. He freed it up. Evans going down. And he's tied up. The possession arrow will be to South Florida.
Evans felt like he had control of it with the timeout. They got 3 to use. It was a good time to use it, but officials say otherwise.
The third place game coming up in Maui, Seton Hall and Washington State on ESPN2 at 5:30. USC on Maui. They are the champs.
How about that? I said, I think in the game when it was a Boise State that didn't have a challenge to use. It was actually Seton Hall. They get all the games confused watching them all the time. But congratulations to Coach Muss, huh? In Southern Cal is.
Yes.
They went surfing on Sunday, I believe, with his guys. Win the tournament on Wednesday. That's a good 4-day stretch.
Joseph Pinion being a real help here. Helping out the officiating crew.
Joseph Pinion played at Moulton High School in Arkansas, the Moulton Devil Dogs. Mosquitoes the size of your hand in the summer.
The Devil Dogs. Love that. Heavy traffic spun in, and a quick strike here for South Florida. Omajapo has not had a gigantic day, but 14 points. Damon averaging 18.
Some guys guys cut to cut. He cuts to score.
Jennings also in traffic for a pair.
Tough shot by Jennings.
Brandon Jennings, his mom has 2 degrees from VCU, so very much in the family.
He is a monster defender. So that on that preseason all A-10 defensive team, you can see why. He is a blanket at times with the guy he's covering.
Brown off contact, no. Rebound tapped away, controlled by the Rams. Jennings can't convert, and another foul. With 5:07 remaining here in our second game of the day. VCU leading at 66-57.
Opie, you're up 9 with the ball, and you come in and take a shot that's going to go in about a 19% rate. That's not smart, high IQ basketball. And you're trying to close out what is going to be this will be a meaningful game to either South Florida or VCU. Man, who makes plays, the smart plays, the right plays down the stretch is huge.
South Florida 42 points in the paint. And Nelson at the line, 83%.
You got to think Djokovic is only going to sit till the media timeout at the under 4.
Nelson with 13. Close. Nelson with a deflection. That triggers the break for Brown. The handoff. Collins can't finish it. Second effort also no good. And Nelson, a marvelous block on the other end, but they could not make that into a basket.
One of the few times in this game, Phil Martelli's put the brakes on his own team to calm things down and play call.
Penetrating Lewis and a foul. You are not going to find an open lane.
No.
Not in this game. Go back to that defensive play.
Just athletes at the rim on both ends, and South Florida, I think they could pay it off. Collins loses his collision. And then VCU finally with another gang rebound on the defensive glass.
Nick Lewis will have another one coming.
A big fan of this kid. Went to Gonzaga College High School in the Washington, D.C. area. Was the number 57 recruit in our ESPN high school rankings. It's just a quiet kid from day one that had just put his nose down and worked and won that starting point guard spot. He is one tough sucker.
Goes VCU over Georgetown, Marquette, Michigan, and Tennessee.
Pretty good group. Yeah. Well, Michigan beat the dog out of Auburn last night, did they not? 30.
Total smoke show. Lewis gives it up to Tracy. Shovels the pass inside and tied up. No foul on the play, but possession arrow will belong to them anyway. VCU.
That's not over. VCU still with work to do with 3:40 to go, but Barry Evans has been a stud in this game. A double-double, 10 points and 10 rebounds. But that play right before the end of the first half, to me, was really big and magnified, and it's played out so far.
Well, he and Lazar Djokovic have become the stars here for VCU in this contest against South Florida. He could also wind up with a double-double with plenty of time left. Imperial Arena here on Paradise Island. Jimmy Dykes and Dave O'Brien with us. If we can get Jimmy away from the Dolphins and away from the Parrots.
No, Macaw, sorry.
And your Sea Lion.
Yes.
All your very close friends who are the Dr. Doolittle of our show. Djokovic tried to dump that pass downstairs, tapped away by the Bulls.
Now you got 7 seconds on the shot clock, and Phil Martelli knows. Always drive this thing and try to get yourself to the free throw line. Djokovic is a threat as a 6'11" guy. That's a good play right there.
Quick shot off the inbounds and knocked down by Nick Lewis.
South Florida just fell asleep, man. The out-of-bounds guy is always the most dangerous kid. He just wins the sprint to the corner.
And that's the biggest lead today for the Rams. They lead it by 12. Enos looking for an answer on the dribble, stripped. Got the shot in the air, won't drop. Djokovic looking for the save and did.
Does it all. 17 in white does it all for this team from Richmond, Virginia. He will be one of the better players in that A-10.
So under 3 to go, have the Rams taken control of this quarterfinal game against USF. Bell in the paint. Rebound tipped out. He'll get a second crack at it, and a shot clock to 20. And a whistle and a foul with 9 on the shot clock.
Let's go back to this out-of-bounds play. Nick Lewis just is a kid. He sees that his defender is way backed off. That's just a simple read and win the sprint to the corner. Not known as a great shooter, Lewis, yet, but starting to show that the stroke looks really good. It's only going to get better. He came in as a 28% three-point shooter, but he's banged a couple in this game.
He said he oozed his talent at 19 against Utah State in his second college game, so it's certainly there.
Those are just instincts out of Lewis. The play call was probably something else, but he read what the defender gave him, and what the defender gave him was that sprint to the corner, hand back 3.
Lewis looking for the save. And it's going to stay right here on this end for South Florida.
VCU program year after year after year, started back with Jeff Capel and all the way through those coaches that have been hired. They expect to win. They expect to win in tournaments in November. They expect to win in tournaments in March. And Phil Martelli told us yesterday, well, one thing he notices about VCU is they make sure that you get what you need to keep that winning culture in place. And it is a big-time job, and I've actually done games there. One of the great home courts in college ball that doesn't probably get enough hype.
Well, South Florida will challenge this call on the out of bounds with 2:21 to go. So it has been ruled VCU ball. On that possession,
it looked like it was off the left hand of a green jersey. If you're just kind of starting to watch college ball for the first time, we now have the coach's challenge in college basketball. You have to have a timeout to use it. And if you lose the challenge, you also lose your timeout. Most coaches, I think, are going to save it till the last 2 minutes where they can challenge who the ball go out of bounds off of, because officials are no longer automatically doing it at that stage of the game.
So 72-59, the officials coming off the monitor. And they're going to keep the call as is here, so it will not be overturned. And the call is upheld. And South Florida Brian Hodgson will lose that challenge.
Yeah, Brian's okay with it. Now, I think he thought at best it's probably a 50-50 would go in his favor, but you got 2:21 to go. You're just trying to save a possession right now. It didn't work out in his favor. And now you got to buckle down and get a stop at turnover, quick basket.
So the Rams to put it in. Lewis will swing for Tracy. Djokovic again with a touch, batted away. Tight defense by Collins. Pinion, well short.
Obi, I can't say enough good things about VCU's three-point defense in this game. They have ran South Florida off that three-point line with consistency all game long.
1:42 to go, and the Rams feeling pretty comfortable at the moment. Lewis, here's Bell, got it. Even more so now, on top 75-59. Brown inside for the basket. So 1:15 to go here, and the Rams looking like they're about to play their way into the semifinals in a showdown with the Vanderbilt Commodores.
VCU came into their 1-hour practice yesterday with a lot of swagger. They had the music going, they put the vibers up. They were a hot team for an hour in practice, and they continued that swagger and aggressiveness to start this tournament. Phil Martelli has taken over a program that expects to win tournaments. And that's why they came to the island.
Now this three-pointer was the dagger.
All starts, though, with Nick Lewis grabbing the paint, forcing the green jerseys on top of him. And he fires a fastball for that backside bomb. And VCU most likely has just shot their way into the semifinals against Vanderbilt around noon tomorrow.
It was very, very early, but VCU was down 12-3 to start the game. Battled back. They took the three-point lead at halftime on the steal by Evans and the dunk. And that propelled them into the second half, and it carried that here against the USF Bulls in the first game for VCU in this tournament.
A good team with a good fan base over there behind that VCU bench.
It's been such a good program over the years, as you mentioned. 14 NCAA tournament appearances since 2004. That's the most in the A-10 over that period. So they're used to winning.
It is a basketball town in what is a good basketball state, Virginia. And every March, the A-10 runs through VCU, and I haven't seen anything out of that A-10 this year that changes my mind, and this only enhances what I think about VCU. I know it's just one game here in Atlantis, but they got some hard-playing dudes that do not back down.
Terrence Hill Jr. with another one coming. And he has 15 points. Time now for our player of the game, brought to you by Barbasol.
Lazar Djokovic has done it all for VCU in this game. Just a tough cover. He's all of 6'11". He's a fast athlete. He makes VCU different, in my opinion. And there's the numbers to back it up today. Just 2 rebounds away from a double-double.
Made 11 out of 18. 20 and 8 for the 6'11" junior from Serbia.
How about that? New Atlantis record for most free throw attempts in a game, 18. He might be flirting with the most miss, 7.
Which may not get mentioned in the media
might probably
guide.
not get mentioned. Nah, he's a heck of a player. He can start for a lot of most Power 4 teams, if not more than that. He's very good.
Nick Lewis at the line, the freshman. Here in the final seconds. VCU about to improve to 4-2 and drop the Bulls to 3-3, and USF would He swung over to the so-called losers bracket for the rest of the tournament. And the Rams on their way to the semifinals. It'll be tomorrow on ESPN. Nelson going in strong and drops in 2. He has 16 points. Isaiah Nelson. So he's had a very nice day. And a timeout here by VCU with 21.8 to go.
Well, Phil Martelli's been around the game his entire life. And to your point, they got knocked in the nose to start this ball game, but there was never any sign of panic from him or his kids. They just kept playing with the pace they wanted to play with. They continued to guard that three-point line. South Florida came in attempting 33-point shots a game. They would not let them get anywhere close to that number of looks today. A well-designed defensive game plan for a team that can hit you in a lot of ways offensively. And that semifinal game tomorrow, the first one we already know now, Vanderbilt VCU, that will be a 15-round fight. Both teams built a little differently, but a major opportunity for the A-10 against the SEC tomorrow.
So the Rams could run it out and run their way to the semifinals. And their fans on their feet inside Imperial Arena here on Paradise Island. VCU Rams will pick up a win here and a hard-fought victory. A lot of physical play, a lot of foul shots in this contest. And Lazar Djokovic was the star on behalf of Phil Martelli Jr. in this one. First-year head coach of VCU with a very satisfying win.